Well, Vaughan's here, folks. He's back from that long break he had. So that's enough, Vaughan. You're not allowed any more holidays, okay? You got to stay here, and that's it. Anyway, folks, what a week. What a couple of days it's been. Nationals imploded. They've actually just absolutely exploded after 4 years, 4 frustrating years of failed brinkmanship from Collins. We got 6 potential contenders out there. Chris Luxton, Simon Bridges, Mark Mitchell, Shane Retty, Chris Bishop, Nicola Willis. They're all there. And which one's going to be leader? Because we got to ask our champion, which is our Vaughan. He's been down. I don't know where he's been, but he's been there to get some stimulus, I think. But whoever the new leader is, they've got a new Hercules task ahead of them to straighten up the party and try and get it to the election where they could have a chance. We got Bridges, who has the expertise, but he's got baggage, and also he was an ousted leader. We got Laxton, who has the corporate expertise, but no business, no small business experience and no political experience. You know, we've got, I could just go on and on about them all because I've got some views on. Look, let's go. Bishop's, he's got the banter, but unfortunately he hasn't quite mastered his words yet. Mitchell's failed twice on attempts to be the leadership, but lacks public recognition. And of course, Mr. Retty, man, he's solid. He's a good guy and got some capabilities. But the trouble is may have the kiss of death from Collins by being his deputy. So what's Vaughan think about this? This is the man himself. Bring him on. Hey, Vaughan, welcome home.
Hey, bring it on. We're not going to muck around with what's happened this week. We all know what happened, but, you know, effectively Judith Collins committed political suicide. That will be the title of her next book. And here we are, you know, and everyone's been picking over the carnage and the wreckage that is what we call the National Party today. Now, we're here to talk about the leadership. What about the future? Where do we go from here? And all the wannabes want to step forward and take over the National Party. And be careful what you wish for. Would you really want it, the state that it's in right now? Now, I've got 2 ways of looking at this, Max. Hands down, mathematically, arithmetic, algorithms, polls, anyone look at? Chris Luxon, Nicola Willis, hands down, will be walking out of the tent on Tuesday and saying they are the new leadership. That is the future. My heart says to me, from a Māori perspective, I want Shane Retty to get it. I would love Shane Retty to get it. I would love to see that because I'd love to see National walk the talk as a treaty partnership, putting Te Tiriti back into the Constitution. Have they got the backbone to do that? I'm not so sure about that. So that's the way I'm looking at it at the moment. All the other names you mentioned, not interested. But the reality is you talked about, you know, whoever's going to be the new leader, the leadership's the easy part. Sorting out this party, what the frickin' hell is going on inside the National Party? We're all sick of it. They're unelectable. We don't want them in there until they can sort. So the next person's got to come in with a fire hose, wash all the shit off the walls, say, you, and you. Don't let the ass hit your door and door hit your ass on the way out. You, and you. You're on my team. We're getting forward and we're winning this election because it's there for the taking. It's there for the frickin' taking. You know, so you know, this is where we're at. So Chris Luxon, Nicola Willis, Shane Retty, if that's what you can do, get on in here and let's get on with it. It's as simple as that. You know?
Oh, you know, I love your passion, brother, because you're right. You know, this government are really upsetting the people. So it's for the taking. And it really is. It's just for the plucking. And it's easy fruit for the National Party if they can get their act together. And they've failed up to now. Well, a new leader may just do it. What do you think?
Yeah, hard out. And, you know, the Ken and Barbie combo of Chris Luxon and Nicola Willis kind of looks appealing to the eye. Probably not brown enough for this diverse wokey-dokey world that we live in. But, you know, Shane Retty, man, is he an articulate, intelligent man? A lot of people sort of don't see him as that natural leader. But I think across those 3, I'd be pretty happy with whoever walks out the door. But, you know, I guess what the public need to see on Tuesday is, can this party move on from being a toxic den of vipers, a flea-ridden pack of dogs that basically there's no trust in there at the moment? Everybody's trying to bloody stab everybody in the back like it too, Brutus. So can we move on from that and actually write a new book? Because otherwise, oblivion awaits the National Party.
You know, Vaughan, I see it this way. Whatever happens, National Party's got to pull itself together behind the scenes. Yep. But in the front row, they've got to attack Jacinda. They've got to go at her throat and do it. Now, that's not going to be easy for a man. It's not going to be easy because they'll be deemed a bully. Now, if it was a woman, it may be. So they need a hard-hitting woman, actually, to do the battling and maybe a more prestigious type person to take the leadership. Now, the other thing is it's 2 years to go. It's 2 years where a leader could be stale. And when they pop up to the in 2 years' time, our election, people are going to go, well, we've seen what you've done, and it hasn't been that miraculous, so I'm sorry, it's not going to happen, because they need some stability right now, and they need to bring it with a throw, but some killing instinct as well, when able to reduce the prime minister's ability to capture the public's imagination, and National have failed in every way for that.
Max, the reason why I don't think 2 years is a problem for the next leader is this party has to have its come to Jesus moment. So whoever takes over the leadership's actually got a hell of a lot of work to do behind the scenes to make sure that they are electable. Because right now, when you look at them, they've been screwing each other over for 4 years now, from the days of the creepy Jamie Lee Ross through to now. If you look at everything that's punctuated in between, it's just become a joke, a circus act. That's just got to be closed off for good. So whoever steps forward on Tuesday, whether it's Chris Luxon with Nicola Willis, or whether it's Shane Rete with Nick, I think everybody wants Nicola Willis in there because she's done the hard yards. So either way, that's the sort of way that we see it. But the bottom line is that it's going to take at least a year to win back the confidence of the party. But we're in a vacuum because the government's lost Auckland. They've just spent 3 months pouring cold water. So there's a third of the voting public right there that are ready. Anyone who stood up against the government in Auckland right now would win the seat. So, I think now is a bloody good time. It's almost as if Judith Collins has done the party a favour because she was the leader that no one ever wanted anyway.
Well, whatever happens, Vaughan, I think you're right about the deputy. I think it needs to be a woman because there's all these men stepping up, and that's when National's actually perceived as a man's party, and it's got to change that image. So whatever happens, I think Willis will be deputy. And I do like the idea of Luxton, but we've never seen Luxton do anything miraculous. We've never seen him pop up with a good idea. We've never seen him grapple with something and take the leadership on an argument to the point where he's actually won it hands down. And none of that. He's a smiling person up there at the moment who's been successful in the corporate. He's a man with a silver spoon. He hasn't done the hard yards in the lower levels of society like you and I may have done. So, he's got a long way to go to prove it to me, but I think he could have the possibilities. And Retty's done all that, though. He's done all that, but he hasn't the health industry. He's actually made some waves, and he's actually made some ground with the public as well. So I don't know, Vaughan, I'm writing this with you. I think Retty could be a good goer there.
I agree.
Are you saying something then?
Yeah, no. But either Shane or Chris Luxon, I've met them a few times now, and they're both easy to like people. I mean, I take on board what you say about Chris Luxon, but to be fair, if you walked into a business or anything where you looked around you and it was such a toxic environment, you wouldn't waste your time with good ideas or whatever. You would actually either tank it, like that's Armageddon, the whole thing, or you would sit and wait for the time to make the move. Now, the time right now for Chris Luxon, and this is a message to you, Chris, piss or get off the pot, bro, because you've got to make your move. You've been talked about, as John Key 2.0, the prodigal son, yada, yada, yada. We need to see you strut your stuff if you're serious about it. Otherwise, you actually don't deserve the leadership because you've got to want it. Leadership.
Well, Vaughan, I don't know. I disagree with you here because I think the new leader of today, I mean, in our day, it was who could box it out and scream and yell the loudest and actually bully the other side out of it. I think today our public will actually more appreciate someone who can maneuver, someone with respect and treat the other opponent with graciousness, but actually outmaneuver them. And I think that's what's going to happen. Now, I don't know if Luxton's got it in him to do that because certainly this Prime Minister seems to be able to be very successful at it.
Yeah, but, a lot of people say that Chris Luxon hasn't got the political experience, mate. If you can survive inside Unilever as the leader of the company and inside New Zealand, you've got political savvy. Mark my words, that would eat what's going on inside the National Party. So I think he's been looking at it, sizing up the situation, being everybody's friend, and he can make look, I think what he's got that John Key had, smiling assassin. I absolutely can see that in him. So I wouldn't underestimate that he doesn't look like he's been a battle match fit.
Let's see what happens because at the end of this, I'm going to try and get this as a last word, but I know.
No, I'm not going to let you, bro.
Well, okay.
I'm waiting.
You know, whatever's going to this will upset you. I'm going to make a prediction here. The next Prime Minister of this country will be David Seymour, and the ACT Party will outdo the National.
You'll fall pregnant before that happens.
No way, brother.